How to handle a situation where you are often asked by your boss to work overtime, or maybe this is the company's culture and everybody stays overtime, but you would like to leave at the end of your regular working time and go home or do other things in your life. So what can you do when you are in a situation when you are directly or indirectly forced to work OT, but you don't like this? First, of course, you have to analyze the culture. So it's including the company culture, the industry culture, and your country. Because let's say in your country everybody does this, then you don't really have too much options. But if you think that usually in this country, in this industry, people don't work overtime, but at this company they work OT, then it's a different situation. And then the second step is think about your long-term whole life. So how does this work, staying at this company, at this industry, at this job, fits your real plan? So if you know what you really want to do, not just career, so career, family, free time activities, hobbies, if this situation doesn't fit to then your purpose, your life purpose, then you have a very good bargaining position from this perspective because it's not so important. But if you think that, hey, this job, other than the OT, is a perfect match for me because I see myself in 5, 10, 15 years in this industry, maybe at this company or in this field, and it's a great company, so I want to stay here. Now, in this case, it's more difficult because you are motivated to stay at this company. So that first big stage, evaluate yourself from your future, look back and see whether this job, this specific job fits to you or not, and understand the industry, the culture, the company, okay? And then the next step is negotiate. Negotiate with your boss, and you can even talk to your colleagues. So talking to the boss, that in this case you not fighting, but negotiating with the boss as a one person. And if it doesn't work, then you can, like a union, try to organize people, because if there are many people who have similar situation, then you can have a more powerful pressure to the boss to change the system, or the whole company change the system. If more people complains, it's very different than you complain just alone. Okay? But let's say that a typical case is that other people, they accept this. That's why they work there in the OT, and maybe they want more money and OT helps them to earn more money. But you don't care about that extra money. You want to go to yoga, you want to play football with your friends, you want to do a lot of things. So you don't care about the money. And if all the other people, they are satisfied with the present situation, then you cannot mobilize them because they prefer the extra money. They don't have an interesting life. So it's possible that you are alone. So in this case, if you go to negotiate with your boss, then probably your personal contribution to company will be a negotiating power, because if you are very unique, if it's very, very difficult to replace you, then maybe you have some chance to negotiate well. But if you're just one of the average people that they can be replaced very easily, probably the boss will not just reject your request, maybe even fire you. So take a risk. If it's possible, because you want OT, you are not satisfied, I think you should look for another job, because everybody works, and we don't want anybody in the company who challenge the culture. I don't want to impact other people, so everybody start to demand. So it's very possible that you go to your boss, and even if you are very polite and ask that, hey, I would like to not to work OT, maybe it will be a reason they fire you. Maybe not immediately, maybe very soon they find some reason that you didn't do your job very well. So be aware that if you go and even very politely, very well organized way, you ask, you request that not to work OT, maybe they will fire you. So that's why you should analyze your situation, that be prepared that maybe they let you to work less OT, maybe they ignore your request and you can keep your job, or maybe they fire you. So the real solution is just in long term. Be so great in your job that it's very difficult to fire you, because if you leave, nobody can do your job, and nobody can do your job so well, and maybe they have to hire 2 or 3 people to replace you, and it's a very expensive way. So in this case you have bargaining power. So the whole analyzing the situation and preparing for to become a great contributor at the company, and maybe your salary is not even so high, so it's very difficult to replace you, then you have a great bargaining power, and you can influence the situation when you negotiate about your OT. So, but if the final solution, of course, that you can quit the job. But the question, what about the next company? So if you think that it's easy to find a new job that is satisfying from all the perspectives, don't just look at the OT, the overtime work, but also look at the salary. What about working on Saturdays? What about the working environment, how far you have to travel? Because let's say if the company is very close to your home, but you don't have to travel, compare that you have to travel 1.5 hours there, 1.5 hours back without OT, that you also waste the time. So you can think about that. Don't just look at the working time, including the normal and the overtime work, but look at also the traveling, because that is also your OT. And you are not even get paid, you pay for the traveling time. So when you evaluate your situation, then think about this, that all the time I spend, including traveling, working, OT, is it too much? Because maybe you have to work 2 hours extra every day, but you live next door. So in this case, you can see, even if you change your job, maybe there is no OT in the other company, but you lose 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours for traveling. So also include this one, not just the time you spend at the company.